What's up, Rafael Cortez? You're back on the Less Business, More Profit series. Lean, effective, strategic, and simple business. Let's talk about hiring. Hiring is one of the biggest challenges that new companies have, right? If you're bootstrapping a business and you need to bring people in, hiring can be a challenge. You've probably seen some of the tools out there for like behavioral personality tests, and you hire, this type of personality for this. Another thing that needs to be accounted for while you're doing your hiring is the skill set that's required for whatever you're hiring for. All right, what do I mean by that? Skill set. We all come wired out of the box with two different sets of skills, soft skills and hard skills. The hard skills allow us to learn and become proficient at technical abilities, right? We're talking stuff that can be measured and things that can be taught, okay? So we're talking accounting, we're talking spreadsheets, we're talking, learning different languages type of stuff. Anything that can be learned like that is considered a hard skill. Now, the other one is soft skills. Soft skills measure the degree of emotional abilities, all right? So you're talking about leadership, you're talking about things like communication, social awareness, critical thinking, anything that's not necessarily measured or that can't be taught, that well. That's gonna be a soft skill. So we come in with soft skills, and certain jobs, certain roles require, more of a strength on each one of those. So let's, for example, we'll come back and then let me take a step back and then give you a couple of examples. So a hard skill, a type of job that would need somebody to have like a really high IQ for a hard skill would be transaction coordination, all right? Would be accounting, would be dispositions in real estate wholesaling. Why? Because you don't necessarily need to have that super high degree of connection with the other person. If you're doing transaction coordination, yeah, you're sending emails back and forth and everything, but you gotta have a high IQ to learn the technical abilities that are required for that role, all right? So hard skills, remember, are more technical. Soft skills bring you back to things like sales, things like marketing and customer support, right? You have to have that higher degree of social awareness, understanding how people communicate, maybe have a higher degree of leadership because you're probably gonna be managing people in a highly demanding soft skill role. Understand when you're hiring, understand what your role is, understand what's required. Yeah, you're gonna take into account the personality profile. That's huge, right? But you also have to understand or take into account the type of skill set that's gonna be needed for that job. Now, let me give you a few job roles and examples for each. All right, so a place where we're gonna have a high regard for hard skills is gonna be roles like transaction coordination, accounting, and dispositions, right? For example, if you're in real estate. Why? Because you need to be proficient at all the systems. You need to be proficient and have the technical abilities dialed in to be able to send communications back and forth, to keep track of the deals, to make sure that the numbers are on par. On the other hand, soft skills are going to be sales, marketing, and customer support type of stuff, where, yeah, technical abilities are needed, but it's a lot more important to be able to create that connection with the customer or the client or whoever you're dealing with. So soft skills that bring you social awareness, leadership, and that type of stuff are gonna be a lot more important in those roles. Understanding when to hire for each one of them is critical. Now, how do you do it? Right, if you're gauging, this is something super simple you can do whenever you're putting together your hiring forms, all right? So if you're looking for a candidate for, say, transaction coordination, and you know that you gotta have a high degree for hard skills, because they gotta be technically proficient, you can drop in questions into your hiring form regarding logic and problem solving. All right, so a simple like math question or something like that, something that makes it a little complicated. I've seen almost riddles, in place sometimes on hiring forms. And yeah, they can get a little complicated, but it's gauging their logic, right? It's also gauging their technical ability to adapt to that particular question. Now, if you're hiring for sales, for example, you know that they need a high degree of soft skills. So you can drop in real life scenarios. Okay, and look for connections, look for social awareness within those answers, right? So there's a couple of different ways that you can work questions in there. Just understand the biggest takeaway about this whole video is understanding that there's different skill sets, right? Hard skills and soft skills that we all come wired with. and we all have them. You're gonna have both, right? The degree of proficiency that you have in each one is gonna matter when it comes to picking the role or the job roles that you're gonna be taking part of or that you're hiring for. So this can be somewhat of a complicated process, but if you have questions, I mean, I just gave you the 50,000 foot view of what this is, but if you have questions on this, make sure that you drop them in the comments below and let's start a conversation back and forth. Also, subscribe, like, share, and stay focused. You got this.